Hello, incredible souls, and welcome back to a journey that promises to transform not just how others see you, but how you truly see yourself. Have you ever wondered if there's a hidden power within you, a magnetic force that could attract everything you desire without you having to lift a finger or chase a single thing? What if I told you that your most potent feminine energy emerges precisely when you stop pursuing, when you release the need to hunt, to beg, to convince? In the next 22 minutes, we're going to unlock a secret, a profound truth that legendary psychologist Carl Jung revealed decades ago, and I am going to show you exactly how you can activate it today to completely revolutionize the way you would be perceived and valued in every area of your life. For too long, many of us have been taught a narrative that works directly against our natural magnetism. From childhood, society, media, even well-meaning loved ones instilled in us the belief that we had to fight for attention, that we had to chase after love, that we had to constantly prove our worth. We were told to strive, to push, to make ourselves indispensable. But what if that tireless effort, that constant pursuit, is actually pushing away the very things we long for? Think about those women you admire, those who effortlessly draw people in. They possess a certain grace, a magnetic allure that seems to attract opportunities, friendships, and adoration without any obvious struggle. They aren't playing mind games or manipulating situations. They've simply tapped into something ancient, something innate, and they've understood that when you stop chasing, when you release the desperate scramble, that's when your true feminine power, your authentic self, finally, majestically emerges. This isn't just some feel-good theory, it's deep psychological wisdom. Carl Jung, one of the most brilliant minds in the history of psychology, spoke extensively about how every single person possesses a natural energy, an authentic essence that, when allowed to flow freely without force or contortion, becomes utterly irresistible. But here's the painful truth. Most of us, myself included at times, have learned to block that natural energy. We've built walls around it, suffocated it with fear. Fear of rejection, fear of not being good enough, a desperate need for external approval, a compelling desire to control every single outcome. Take a moment to really reflect on this. How many times have you felt that you had to work incredibly hard just for someone to notice you? How many times have you relentlessly pursued a friendship, a romantic relationship, a dream job, convinced that if you didn't keep pushing, if you didn't insist enough, you would lose it forever? That exhausting sensation, that relentless pressure to do more, to be more, to demonstrate more, that, my friends, is precisely what is blocking your natural feminine energy from radiating outwards. And here is the very first monumental secret you need to grasp. When you pursue, you automatically place yourself in a position of perceived lack. You are subconsciously broadcasting a message to the universe, to everyone around you, that you need something from the outside to feel whole, to feel complete. And that energy of lack, that subtle, almost imperceptible desperation that everyone can intuitively sense, is precisely what repels people instead of attracting them. It's a paradox of human connection. Jung was fascinated by our inner landscape, particularly what he called our shadows, those unhealed, unintegrated parts of ourselves that we often push away or deny. When you constantly chase, what you are really exhibiting, what you are unconsciously projecting, is your shadow of insecurity. It's your underlying fear of abandonment, your deep-seated belief that you are simply not enough, just as you are. And people, whether they consciously understand it or not, can feel that energy. It's like a silent alarm bell that signals something is missing here. But then something truly magical unfolds when a woman consciously decides to stop chasing. When she reconnects with her authentic feminine energy, she suddenly transforms into a magnet. And let me be clear, This isn't about playing manipulative games or employing cunning strategies. It's because she starts to emanate an energy of profound completeness, of unwavering self-security, of not needing anything from anyone else to feel inherently valuable. Have you ever noticed those women who, without doing anything overtly dramatic, without obviously demanding attention, somehow always have people gravitating towards them? It's not a coincidence. They have mastered the art of magnetic feminine energy, and it begins with letting go of the need to pursue and instead starting to attract from their deeply authentic essence. So let's put this into immediate action. Here's a simple yet incredibly powerful exercise you can begin right now. Over the next 3 days, every single time you feel that familiar frantic urge to send that text message, to make that call you've been deliberating over, to insist on that conversation that feels like it needs to happen now, I want you to pause, stop, breathe deeply for a count of 4 in, 4 hold, 4 out, and then ask yourself this crucial question: am I acting from a place of self-love or from a place of desperate need? If the honest answer is from need, then just let it pass. Observe what happens. Allow yourself to experience the discomfort. Watch what unfolds when you don't chase, when you simply permit things to flow naturally. I can guarantee you at first, it's going to feel incredibly uncomfortable. Every fiber of your being, your ingrained patterns of control and pursuit, will scream at you to revert to the old ways. But it is precisely in that discomfort, in that space of uncertainty, where your profound growth resides. It's there that your authentic feminine energy can finally begin to emerge and flourish. And this brings us to an even deeper understanding of your natural feminine energy. Your authentic feminine energy is a universe apart from everything you were ever taught it should be. It is not about always being available, perpetually saying yes, constantly pleasing everyone around you, or endlessly sacrificing yourself for the needs of others. Your true feminine energy is something far more exquisite and potent. It is mysterious. It doesn't reveal all its cards at once. It is selective, choosing where and how it expends itself. It is powerful in its inherent softness, its grace, its intuition. And above all, it is profoundly, completely self-sufficient. Jung recognized that every individual carries both masculine and feminine aspects within their psyche, what he termed the anima, the feminine principle in men, and the animus, the masculine principle in women. Authentic feminine energy has absolutely nothing to do with being weak, submissive, or dependent. On the contrary, it is inherently receptive, yes, but from an undeniable position of profound strength. It is deeply intuitive, sensing truths beyond logic, yet it can also be strategically perceptive. It is loving and compassionate, but crucially, it also possesses clear, non-negotiable boundaries. The societal distortion of femininity is a massive disservice to us all. We were taught that being feminine meant being endlessly agreeable, always ready to give, to sacrifice, to place everyone else's needs before our own. But that isn't authentic feminine energy. That, my dear friends, is survival energy. It's the desperate outcome of fear, not the radiant expression of authenticity. A woman truly connected with her authentic feminine energy does not chase, because she has no need to chase. She knows intuitively, deep in her bones, that what is truly meant for her will arrive without force, without manipulation. She possesses an unwavering, natural confidence in the flow of life, in her own intrinsic value, in her inherent ability to co-create the reality she desires without having to micromanage or control every single detail. Think about the sheer elegance of nature for a moment. The most breathtakingly beautiful flowers don't chase after bees. They don't desperately try to convince insects to visit them. No, they simply bloom in all their magnificent glory, emanating their natural fragrance, displaying their vibrant colors. And the bees automatically, irresistibly come to them, drawn by that undeniable natural allure. That, right there, is authentic feminine energy in its purest action. Effortlessly attractive, magnetically powerful without manipulation, profoundly strong without aggression. How many times have you felt compelled to convince someone of your worth? How many hours have you spent explaining and then re-explaining why you deserve respect, why you deserve love, why you deserve attention? Those moments are crystal clear signals that you have become disconnected from your authentic feminine energy and have slipped unconsciously into survival mode. And here is the profound truth that will change your life. When you are truly connected with your real, authentic feminine energy, you don't need to convince anyone of anything. Your very presence speaks for itself. People intuitively feel your security, your authenticity, your completeness, and they are naturally drawn to that powerful, serene energy. But to access this profound energy, we first need to heal the old wounds that have disconnected us from it. Jung referred to this as the process of individuation, the lifelong journey of becoming who you truly are, not who you believe you should be to gain acceptance. Most of us carry deep-seated wounds, wounds of rejection, of abandonment, of feeling not enough at some point in our lives. And these unhealed wounds lead us to behave in ways that actually push away the very things we most desire. We chase because we fear loss. We cling because we dread abandonment. But when you begin the sacred work of healing those wounds, when you start to consciously reconnect with your authentic feminine essence, everything, and I mean everything, shifts. You no longer need to pursue because you trust in your natural magnetism. You no longer need to explain yourself because your quiet, powerful energy speaks volumes louder than any words ever could. Every morning, before you even glance at your phone or engage with the outside world, take a sacred 5 minutes to connect deeply with yourself. Notice, I didn't say, "What do I want to accomplish?" or "What do I need to do?" Do you want to feel powerful, calm, magnetic, secure? Because when you start your day deeply connected with your authentic feminine energy, everything you do will emanate that energy, and people will undeniably feel it. Repeat this powerful affirmation every time you feel that old urge to chase. My authentic energy is sufficient. I don't need to force anything that is truly for me. Mystery is, without a doubt, one of the most powerful forces in the universe. It's about a deep understanding that when you reveal everything about yourself immediately, you eliminate the thrilling opportunity for others to gradually discover your depth. Jung understood that the most compelling, most attractive aspects of a person are often those that maintain a certain level of mystery, that invite exploration without giving everything away all at once. It's like reading a truly fascinating book. But here's our modern dilemma. We live in an era of relentless overexposure. Social media has subtly trained us to share every fleeting thought, every raw emotion, every minute detail of our lives. And without even realizing it, we have inadvertently surrendered one of our most potent tools of attraction, the elegant art of mystery. She doesn't unveil all her future plans in the initial conversations. She maintains layers of herself, like a beautifully wrapped gift, that she only reveals gradually as people demonstrate that they are worthy of gaining access to her inner world. Have you ever noticed that the most genuinely interesting people you meet are often those who always seem to have a little bit more to discover about them? It's not that they're artificially enigmatic. It's that they instinctively understand the power of gradual revelation. They share just enough to spark genuine connection, but they maintain sufficient privacy to cultivate a delicious sense of intrigue. Think about this. Have you ever met someone who, upon your first encounter, unloaded their entire life story, all their problems, all their dramas, all their insecurities? How did you feel afterward? Probably overwhelmed, perhaps even a little uncomfortable, right? That's what happens when someone lacks boundaries in what they share. It generates repulsion rather than attraction. Each conversation offered a new, intriguing detail that made you genuinely want to know more, to spend more time with them. Feminine mystery isn't about being enigmatic for the sake of it, and these treasures are not given away freely to just anyone, and that power is diluted, dispersed, and cheapened when you hand over all your personal information without it having been earned. Jung also understood that a significant part of our attractiveness stems from what he called our collective unconscious, those deeper parts of ourselves that connect us to something larger, more mysterious, more profound than our everyday personality. When a woman is connected to these deeper, ancestral layers of herself, she automatically emanates an aura of mystery that cannot possibly be fabricated. Here are some practical ways you can cultivate your natural feminine mystery. First, learn to embrace pauses. Before you respond to personal questions, especially if they feel invasive or premature, don't feel obligated to answer immediately. A simple, "That's an interesting question, let me think about it," or "I prefer to keep some things private for now," creates space and clearly communicates that you are not an open book for just anyone to read. Second, resist the urge to announce all your plans. If you're embarking on a significant change in your life, a new project, a personal goal, a big move, don't broadcast it until it's already well underway or even completed. Let people be pleasantly surprised by your actions, not just by your words. There is something incredibly magnetic about a woman who can move in silence and then appear with unexpected, impressive results. Third, genuinely cultivate interests and passions that fulfill you. This isn't about artificially creating mystery. It's about having a life so full and engaging that there's always something new and fascinating to discover about you. Have you noticed that the most attractive women need to boast about how wonderful they are? For the upcoming week, I challenge you to an exercise. In every conversation you have, make a conscious effort to ask more questions than you answer. And simultaneously, share only what feels necessary, what feels earned about yourself. My depth reveals itself gradually to those who truly deserve it. It literally transforms the entire power dynamic in all your relationships. And begin to prioritize yourself without guilt or hesitation. Something revolutionary occurs. The entire world shifts its manner of treating you. People can intuitively sense how much you value yourself, and they subconsciously adjust their behavior towards you based on that perception. People project onto you precisely the energy that you emanate toward yourself. If you speak to yourself with disdain, others will speak to you with disdain. The fundamental problem is that so many of us were raised with the insidious idea that prioritizing ourselves is inherently selfish. But this deeply ingrained programming has created generations of women who are exhausted, resentful, and ironically, far less attractive. A woman who prioritizes herself is not selfish, she is profoundly strategic. She cannot love healthily from a place of emptiness. It is exactly like the safety message on an airplane: put on your own oxygen mask before attempting to help others. How many times have you cancelled your own plans, disregarded your own desires, just to accommodate someone else? How many times have you placed the needs, desires, or comfort of others before your own, foolishly hoping that this self-abnegation would make you more beloved, more appreciated? If you are truly honest with yourself, the answer is probably far too many times. And here is the brutal, life-altering truth. When you consistently put yourself in second place, you are, in essence, training people to give you crumbs instead of feasts. You are teaching them, implicitly, that your time is not valuable, that your energy is infinite and easily depleted, that your boundaries are mere suggestions, easily negotiable. And once they learn that lesson, once that perception is cemented, it is incredibly difficult to shift. But then, when you courageously begin to prioritize yourself, something magical happens. The people who genuinely value you will respect and even admire your new elevated standards. The people who were only there for convenience, for what they could extract from you, will naturally fall away. And most importantly, new people, people who are aligned with the level of growth and self-worth of the woman you are becoming, will begin to appear in your life. A woman who prioritizes herself says no without guilt. She doesn't feel the need to explain, to justify, to invent elaborate excuses. A simple, "I can't," or "that doesn't work for me," is perfectly sufficient. And that unwavering firmness, that clear articulation of her boundaries is incredibly attractive because it powerfully communicates profound self-respect. Think about the women you most admire, the ones you consider truly successful, genuinely magnetic. Have you noticed that they aren't begging for attention? That they don't constantly apologize for their decisions? That they seem to possess their own fascinating agenda, one that is so compelling that others actually want to be a part of it? That, my friends, is the vibrant energy of a woman who prioritizes herself. Jung also spoke of the critical importance of individuation in this context, the process of becoming who you truly are, independent of external expectations. A crucial, non-negotiable part of this process is learning to value your own opinion above all others, to trust your profound intuition more than the fleeting approval of others. Here are some concrete examples of what self-prioritization looks like in everyday life. It's showing up on time for your own appointments with yourself. That yoga class you booked, that manicure you scheduled, that precious time you set aside for reading or meditation. It takes not immediately answering every text message or email just because someone else is in a hurry, recognizing that your time is yours to manage. It's consciously investing in your appearance, your education, your physical and mental well-being, not as an act of vanity, but as a sacred investment in your most precious temple. A woman who prioritizes herself does not accept emotional crumbs. She doesn't accept last-minute plans when her calendar deserves considerate planning. Your old programming will try to whisper doubts. You're being too demanding. You're going to end up alone. Every time someone asks you for something, before you automatically respond with a yes, take a deliberate 5 seconds to pause. Am I saying yes from a place of love or from a place of fear? What does my intuition tell me? This simple phrase gives you invaluable time to process, to connect with your center, and to respond from a place of conscious choice, not from your automatic people-pleasing programming. Repeat this powerful affirmation. I am my number one priority. From my overflowing cup, I give the best of myself to the world. When you truly embody them and become a completely individualized woman, in Jung's terms, your magnetism reaches a level that transforms not only your relationships, but your entire experience of life. When a woman completes her process of individuation, when she truly becomes who she is, without apologies, without masks, without pretense, her energy reaches a level of magnetism that is almost impossible to describe with mere words. Jung dedicated much of his life's work to understanding this process of individuation and discovered that individuals who successfully complete it develop what he called a luminous presence, an almost sacred quality that others can feel but cannot necessarily explain. It's the profound difference between a woman who simply exists and a woman who truly lives. And your shadow aspects, your undeniable strength and your profound vulnerability, your fierce independence and your deep capacity for connection. It's about ceasing to look for completion through others and beginning to recognize with deep reverence that you are already, inherently, completely whole. She doesn't pursue love because she herself is love. Have you ever had the privilege of knowing a woman like this? One who, without doing anything overtly dramatic, without obviously seeking attention, somehow always becomes the gravitational center of any room she enters. It's not because she's necessarily the most beautiful, the most intelligent, or the most overtly successful. It's because she has achieved that state of being where she is completely aligned, completely congruent with her truest self. These women possess something that is utterly impossible to fake: complete authenticity. They aren't performing a role. They aren't desperately trying to impress. They aren't hiding fragmented parts of themselves. They are simply, powerfully, unapologetically who they are. And that profound congruence between their internal being and their external expression is magnetic in a way that utterly transcends logic. When you reach this level, your relationships transform completely. You no longer attract people who want to fix you or complete you, because you now project an undeniable sense of completeness yourself. You no longer attract codependent dynamics because you are emotionally sovereign and independent. You no longer attract unnecessary drama because you are deeply at peace with yourself, emanating an aura of calm resilience. Instead, you begin to attract individuals who are at a similar level of growth, who have also done their internal work, who also value themselves, and who also seek authentic connections based on true abundance, not desperate scarcity. It's as if you become a beacon, a magnet for high-quality experiences and relationships. Jung also discovered that when a person completes their individuation, they develop what he called the transcendent function, the remarkable capacity to consciously and unconsciously integrate information, to access a profound wisdom that goes far beyond rational knowledge. This translates into an incredibly refined intuition, an uncanny ability to read energies, to know which decisions to make even when the logical path isn't clear. An individualized woman trusts her intuition implicitly because she has learned through direct experience that her internal wisdom has never betrayed her. She has learned to distinguish with unwavering clarity between the voice of fear and the true guiding voice of intuition. She has developed such a solid, unshakable relationship with herself that she can navigate life from her deeply rooted center, unswayed by external expectations or pressures. This translates into a profound confidence that is completely different from arrogance. Arrogance stems from the ego, from a desperate need to prove something. This confidence, however, comes from a deep inner knowing, from the recognition of your own inherent value, from the unwavering certainty that you can handle anything life throws your way. People immediately feel this powerful energy. They sense that you are at peace with yourself, that you need nothing from them to feel whole, that your happiness is not dependent on their approval. And paradoxically, that makes them want to be close to you, because everyone deep down yearns for that kind of peace, that kind of stability, that kind of self-possession. Here is the most important, most accelerating exercise you can do for your individuation process. Every night before you go to sleep, take 10 minutes to conduct an honest, compassionate inventory of your day. Ask yourself, when today did I act from my authentic self? And when did I act from behind a mask? When did I trust my intuition? And when did I allow myself to be led by fear? When did I honor myself? And when did I betray my own needs? Do not judge yourself for your answers. Simply observe them with profound compassion and gentle curiosity. Awareness is always the crucial first step toward transformation. Every single time you recognize a pattern that no longer serves you, you create a powerful opportunity to choose differently the next time. Repeat this powerful declaration. I am a complete, authentic, and magnetic woman. My energy attracts exactly what I need without effort or pursuit. When you fully, completely integrate this truth, when you truly live it in every cell of your being, your life will transform into a constant, breathtaking demonstration of the power of authentic feminine energy. You will no longer need to pursue, because everything that is truly for you will come naturally, effortlessly, beautifully. If this message has resonated deeply with you, if you feel a stirring in your soul, a recognition of this ancient truth, then you already know something profound in your heart. Your authentic feminine energy is a force of nature that requires no chasing to conquer. You have discovered that true magnetism doesn't come from frantically running after what you want, but from becoming the kind of woman who naturally attracts everything she needs. In these past minutes together, we have dismantled the pervasive myths that kept you playing small, that made you believe you had to beg for love, attention, and respect. We've explored how Jung understood that every person possesses a natural, potent power that gloriously emerges when they cease acting from a place of fear and courageously begin to live from their deep, unwavering authenticity. You learned that stopping the chase isn't passivity. It is, in fact, a powerful, strategic act. It's the profound recognition that your energy is so incredibly valuable that you refuse to squander it on people or situations that do not genuinely deserve it. It's understanding that when you act from a place of internal abundance, the external world responds with overwhelming abundance. You discovered that your authentic feminine energy is not the soft, compliant, people-pleasing version you were taught, but a powerful, mysterious, selective, and completely self-sufficient force. It's an energy that attracts without manipulating, that conquers without controlling, that loves without ever losing itself in the process. You realize that elegant mystery is not a calculated game, but the natural, beautiful result of having a life so rich and so profound that there are always new, exciting layers for others to discover. It's the deep, embodied understanding that your depth is a sacred treasure that is not given away freely, but is gradually, lovingly revealed to those who genuinely demonstrate they deserve it. You understood that prioritizing yourself is not an act of selfishness. It is, unequivocally, the absolute foundation of every healthy relationship. It's the critical recognition that you cannot give what you do not have, that you cannot love healthily from an empty vessel, that you cannot attract true respect if you do not first, with fierce devotion, respect yourself. And finally, you explored how complete individuation, that sacred process of becoming who you truly, unreservedly are, creates a magnetism that transcends all logical explanation. It is the radiant energy of a woman who is deeply at peace with herself, who implicitly trusts her profound intuition, who requires no external validation because she has forged an unbreakable, solid relationship with her own divine essence. But here is the single most important truth. Everything you have learned today is not mere theory. It is your inherent, natural reality. You are not learning something entirely new. You are simply remembering something you have always intrinsically known. You are returning to your original magnificent power, that very power you possessed before the world ever told you that you weren't enough, just as you are. The transformative process that begins today will not always be easy. There will be moments when your mind, your old conditioning, will desperately want to revert to the ancient patterns of chasing, of people-pleasing, of seeking external validation. Those moments are absolutely normal. They are an inherent part of the journey. The crucial difference now is that you possess the powerful tools to recognize them, and each time to consciously choose a different path. Every time you feel that old, familiar urgency to pursue, remember that your natural magnetism is infinitely more powerful than any desperate, forced effort. Every time you feel that you have to endlessly prove your worth, remember that a truly valuable woman never has to convince anyone of her value. Every time you feel compelled to explain yourself, remember that your profound authenticity speaks far louder than 1,000 justifications. Your sacred challenge, starting today, is to live from this new empowering understanding. It is to make every decision from your grounded center, not from your fears. It is to prioritize yourself without a trace of guilt. It is to gracefully maintain your elegant mystery. It is to trust, with every fiber of your being, that what is truly meant for you will arrive without you ever having to force it. I want you to do something incredibly powerful right now. I want you to make a silent, sacred declaration to seal your commitment to your new, empowered reality. Say these words to yourself deep in your heart. I choose to trust in my natural magnetism. My authentic feminine energy attracts everything I need without pursuing. When you declare these words, you are not just making a statement. You are actively reprogramming your subconscious. You are telling the universe and yourself that you are ready, irrevocably, to operate from your true, magnificent power. You hold within you an ancestral wisdom, an incredible force that can transform not only your life, but the lives of everyone around you. Remember this always. You do not chase because you are the prize. You do not beg because you are the queen. You do not explain yourself because your energy speaks volumes all on its own. You are a magnetic, powerful, complete woman, and the world is waiting with bated breath to meet the true you. The time for hiding, for making yourself small, for chasing crumbs when you deserve banquets, is over. Your era of authentic magnetism begins now.